Hello Sagittarius, welcome to Essence Reflections Tarot. My name is Krista and this is your reading for the week of May 13th to 19th, 2019. This is for Sagittarius Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. If this is your first time at my channel, feel free to check out my introduction video. It gives you an idea of how I tend to approach reading the cards. Sagittarius, let's dive in. So the first card, which is going to be talking about what's going on for you physically, we have the Seven of Swords. And the second card, which is your emotions, you have the Tower in reverse. And for our third card, which is for what's going on for you in your mental realm, is the Judgment card reversed. And our fourth and final card, which has to do with what's happening for you spiritually, is the Page of Wands in reverse. So it looks like you are in the process of some major adjusting in terms of how you feel and how you think and how that affects you on your physical level. It's like something that you thought was a certain way physically, you're realizing that wasn't true at all, that there were lies and there were deceptions around that, and maybe you needed to lie to yourself about whatever it was in order to survive whatever it was, or in order to allow yourself to continue behavior that you needed at that time. But that's changed for you. You've had your foundation shaken emotionally, and things which used to be true for you and things that used to rule you and used to dictate how you behaved and how you responded to things, they just no longer apply for you anymore. And it's the kind of shaking of your foundations that can be very unsettling and that can lead to extreme amounts of freedom. And it can be absolutely beautiful. But the process of going through it doesn't really feel absolutely beautiful. Realizing that there has been deception, especially that you've been deceiving yourself, that can be very disconcerting. But just know that we all do that at times. We all need to do that sometimes in order to get through things. Once we know, however, that that's what's been happening, it's a really good idea to not continue doing it, because then we just don't want to do that. So really, even though everything is upside down, and there are some cards of major upheaval, and we're talking deep-rooted things here, this is a reading of extreme freedom. And maybe it actually is starting to feel like that for you, and maybe that has seemed a little bit wonky, and so you haven't really wanted to acknowledge it, but the truth, it sets us free. That's not just a cliche. It's a cliche. It's a true cliche. It's a cliche for a reason. Um, and you've been doing a lot of, well, what's happened for you emotionally with all of these things from your past getting thrown out the window, um, ways of being, what you rely on, who you think has authority. That authority is a big thing. For you, it seems like who has authority over you and who you're allowing to have authority in your life is undergoing a huge reorganization. And now that that has happened, it's caused you to think about who you are really. Past all of that stuff, what does that leave? And it would be a beautiful time for you to explore what's left. What was underneath all of that? What was suppressed? Which parts of you had to go underground because they were not thought acceptable by whoever was in authority over you at that time? Now that you are deciding that you're your own authority and you're reorganizing all of that, you have the option of resurrecting parts of yourself that you thought had died, but that had simply gone into hiding because they were not welcome at the time. So there will be strength that you can call back to yourself, because you do have an incredible amount of strength. It may not necessarily, you have a lot of strengths to rediscover, and things that were taught to you were weaknesses, you are now going to know are actually your strengths. And I think that's part of what is happening for you physically, is things that you thought were weaknesses, you're discovering, no, wait a minute, that was all not true. Not true at all. And this leaves you starting a new type of spiritual learning. A new way of receiving spiritual guidance, and a new way of connecting to yourself spiritually. And it may feel a bit scorched right now. Kind of a barren, dry earth feeling to your spirituality. But you know how in deserts, when you have the occasional rain, all of the beauty that can come up out of nowhere, and even the desert themselves, without the rain and all the amazing vegetation that can grow for a short period of time, even without that, deserts can be beautiful. But it's a starting place. You're not going to stay here all the time or forever. If you feel like your foundations have been razed, as in burnt to the ground, that's okay. That's a good place to start building from. That means you can start your new foundation and start building on that new solid foundation. And your spirituality will come back, but it will be yours this time, completely yours, and not someone else's, and not what you were taught should be. It will be a spirituality that feeds you, even through these dry, dusty times. So be watching for inspiration and guidance, the kind that comes from within you. You have looked outside of yourself up until now, and now it is time to go within and to call back what needs to be coming forth for you right now. That's where your strongest resources are, within you at this point. because you have the truth within you. You are your own truth. I hope this reading has been helpful for you. Let me know in the comments below if it resonated. If it didn't, that's okay. It's a general reading. They don't always resonate for everybody who watches. If you would like a personal reading that is more specific to you, or that is definitely specific to you, the link to my website is in the description box below, and or you can just send me a message here and we can get started on that for you. I hope you have a great week, and I'm very excited for this new freedom that you're finding.